Welcome to Real Vibes, a show where we talk about movies, music, and TV shows. On today's episode, we have Dr. Jason Beverly, another special guest, and we will be talking about some classic 80s and 90s entertainment. So be sure to stay tuned, and we'll be right back after Thriller by Michael Jackson. Okay, welcome back. I'm your host, Justin.
I'm your host, Rochak Basnet.
Yes, and today we have yet another very special guest,
Very special.
Dr. Jason Beverly.
Welcome to the show.
Wow, thanks, y'all. It's going great. How are you guys doing?
We are doing
Yeah,
very
doing
good.
pretty
I'm
good.
doing good.
Good, good.
Last show I was a little sick, but I'm a lot better now, thankfully. We got to be more appreciative whenever we are not sick and just more appreciative on everything.
That's right,
True,
young
true.
man.
So why don't you introduce a little bit about yourself to our audience?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Jason Beverly, educator by day, screenwriter, fiction author by night. I've been a fiction novelist for, almost 10 years now.
Wow.
8 novels. I've written, ghostwritten several more books. Ghostwritten a few screenplays and a pilot I ghost wrote that also got picked up. Of course, because I ghost wrote it, I can't reveal what the actual pilot was, but it's still on TV today. So yeah,
Cool.
that's a little bit about me. Born and raised here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Always been a fan of music, everything 80s, 90s music, movies. I've always been a top fan of it.
That's awesome.
Awesome. So cool to hear that you're involved with all that stuff.
So what kind of like 80s, 90s music? Any genres or everything?
Well, in regards to music, I listen to everything. From soft rock music to pop music, R&B, even country music. I don't discriminate against the different genres of music. I find enjoyment in all of them actually. So yeah, I would say my favorite artist. Y'all might laugh at this, but James Taylor. I'm not sure if y'all have even ever heard of James Taylor.
I haven't.
I've heard of him, but I'm terrible with names, so I'm sure I might have heard some of his stuff though, because his name sounds very familiar.
Yeah, he's I would call him more of a folk artist. I've always loved his music. He got a very smooth, soothing sound, kind of along the same lines of Jimmy Buffett. I know y'all heard of Jimmy Buffett
Yeah, we
before.
have, yeah.
And so I know those two were actually good friends, and they collaborated on a few projects together. But James Taylor has always been my favorite. Of course, the king of pop, Michael Jackson. You got to
Yes.
like him as well. I used to like Madonna's music back in the '80s as well. My taste of music is very diversified. As long as I like it, a lot of times, people like to listen to the beats of the music. That's fine and all, but I love to hear if you can actually sing. Because there's a lot of artists out there who can't sing today.
No.
But because they got a fancy beat that they can lay on top of a track, everybody say, "Oh, they can sing." No, to this day, I think James Taylor has one of the purest and best singing voices out there.
So
No,
you don't listen to any like pop song or any song from like today's like
I got a 15-year-old daughter, and so whenever we're in a car, I gotta listen to the Billie Eilish and
Taylor
Christina
Swift.
Carpenter and Taylor Swift and all that stuff. Some of it, it's catchy. So I find myself, vibing and bobbing my head to it because it's catchy. And some of these artists today are talented, but I'm an old man, and so I like to often try to compare my generation of music to today's generation of music, and it's just something about the '80s, '90s, early 2000s that I like better.
yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, if we was born back then, I'm sure we'd be somewhat the same way as well.
Right, right,
I mean, but we're we was born a little bit recently,
right, right.
and so we kind of go with the trend of stuff. But no, I definitely 100% agree with you. There are a lot of artists out there that people say they can sing just because they have that fancy beat on it,
Uh-huh.
and there's been a bunch recently that I'm not going to
it's
name
more
any,
like
but
TikTok trendy thing.
yeah,
today
Right.
is
and you see all these songs on. Honestly, I don't get on TikTok a lot, but a lot of the ways I find my new music is through like TikTok or Reels or whatever,
Mhm.
and and it's just like sometimes it's like that. Just because it blows up and it's popular doesn't mean everybody's gonna like it. And with you being like liking all genres and stuff, like all of our guests have said the same thing, and that's so
Mhm.
good to
You
to
have the
accept.
diverse
Yeah,
knowledge in
diverse.
music.
Right.
So do you watch any awards show music? Are you into like awards show, music awards show?
Yeah, like award shows. Yeah,
Yeah.
my sister and I, we used to always, watch like the MTV award shows religiously. I mean, every year. My sister, Kenya, she's 1 year under me, but she and I, we look forward to that every year. Now, I can honestly say, over the past 10, 15 years, I hadn't watched it as much
Mhm.
because to me, it's just kind of trashy.
I
You
agree.
get a lot of people on there. If you come on those award shows as a performer, you're supposed to be coming to perform. No
Yeah.
one wants to see that you don't have on any clothes or anything like that. And so again, that's I guess that's a testament to my age. But yeah, I don't. So that's the main reason I pretty much stopped watching all the
Oh,
award shows.
Okay.
But we have a nomination from Grammy 2025 that just dropped today. So let's quickly go through it, Justin.
Yep.
So we have Record of the Year. We have Beatles, Beyonce, Sabrina Carpenter, Charlie XCX, Billie Eilish, Kendrick Lamar, Chaperone, Taylor Swift.
yes. Let's see.
So Beyonce, Sabrina Carpenter, Charlie XCX, Billie Eilish, and Taylor Swift, and Chaperone. It's a lot of names. They are nominated for almost all categories.
Yeah. What would you say is your nominee?
I mean, uh, again, my generation grew up on listening to people like Beyonce, but I cannot deny the fact that people like Chaperone, Billie Eilish, Christine Carpenter, Taylor Swift, they have huge followings. And again, I got a freaking 15-year-old daughter, and so when I'm in a car with her, we're constantly vibing to Taylor Swift, and I got to be honest, some of her joints, they sound pretty good to me.
They do.
So I would probably give it to Taylor.
Taylor
Okay.
Swift.
But no, I take that back. Beyonce
Beyonce.
first, then Taylor.
Okay. I'd probably go with Chaperone, maybe, because her new music, her new album was pretty good.
And see, let me ask you this though: is everybody in love with this Chaperone because she got that one song? I can't think of the name of it, but it's like
Hot to go.
the ending of it sounds kind of funky.
Yeah,
Where it
yeah.
gets slower and slower or
Mhm.
whatever.
Wait, is that the one? Hot to go?
Is there a couple of songs?
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's one song I can't think of the name of it in particular, but it has a weird ending where it kind of like the tone or the pace of the song gets slower and slower. And I don't know. I've heard so many people talk about that song. Again, I don't think I've heard any of her other songs besides that one. So I don't know. It was just a question, just an observation. So
Yeah, I honestly myself, I'd probably go with Chaperone too, just because like her recent music.
it's good.
I
Yeah.
used to listen to a lot of when Billie Eilish first started blowing up, but that "Birds of a Feather" song is
yeah, that's
is really good.
that's a
though.
pretty good
That,
song
that,
right there.
that was a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her vocal is really good.
Right.
And Sabrina's Carpenter's "The Espresso." I mean, that blew up. That was pretty good. It's really catchy, vibey.
Yeah.
So Grammy. It is pretty interesting nominees.
Yeah, it's a 67th, right?
I think
Yeah,
so.
67th Grammy Awards.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's
been going
happening
for-
on February 2nd, 2025.
Hey, but they got the where's that? The Beatles Now and Then on there too.
Uh-huh.
Is that a new album? Probably no.
I don't know.
I don't
I
know
haven't-
about Beatles. Sorry.
I should have researched more before the show, but
We should have.
yeah,
Yeah.
been busy.
I want to ask you, Dr. B, what do you think about Queen?
Queen. Okay,
Watch your words.
yeah, Queen is one of those groups that I can't say anything bad about. Freddie Mercury, he did a heck of a job as being lead singer of the group, and he has some very strong vocals. So yeah, I mean, I liked them. No complaints. I know one of my students in particular. I'm not going to name him, but he claims that they are the greatest of all time. And I mean, I'm not sure if I'll necessarily say that, but they they were a decent group. They were a decent group.
I know somebody else who thinks they're the greatest of all time. Too.
I bet you do. Yeah.
Like that person just really loves them, and I can't blame them. But
They're good, but not the greatest.
Right.
Okay. So also, Dr. B, I'm gonna go and ask you another question. Do you know about the show called The Office? Or have you watched
The
it?
show, The Office. Oh,
The
heck
Off-
yeah, man, I love that show. Actually, my son Mason actually put me on to that show. At first, because some episodes the camera can move kind of funny, and I get motion sickness easy, and so I never would. Every time he would say, "Daddy, just watch the show with me," I'm like, Mason, I can't. It's making me nauseous, But I still remember one time I took some Dramamine, which that kind of alleviates nausea. Only because he kept asking me to watch the show.
Wow.
And so I took some Dramamine so I wouldn't get sick, and I watched it, and I thought that was one of the funniest shows ever. I mean, it's
Everybody
a hell of a
loves
show.
Office. Yeah,
Right.
because we talk about Office every single week, pretty much, and everybody loves it. And I'm thinking of making SM2 version.
Oh man,
Hopefully next
That'd be
semester
so
or
awesome.
in future. But I
wanna
definitely
see
need to
it.
get approved for that. But it will be a bit different, but something like similar vibe.
I think that'll be fun.
And I think you will be one of the character too.
Which character?
The man, Michael Scott.
Michael Scott. Okay, I can go with that. I can go with that.
I want Justin to be there, and
Yeah.
everybody.
Good.
No, I have seen so many. I haven't watched. I've watched probably like only 3 or 4 like full episodes of The Office.
You sure
I need to
was.
watch more. I know, but I've seen the majority of the funny clips through like TikTok and Instagram and stuff. And I just I need to take the time and watch it.
I also like the mockumentary style of The Office. How
Yeah.
it's not a documentary, but it's fake documentary.
Right.
It's a bit easier to create too, but the joke and everything is hard because it's script writing. What kind of show do you watch?
Well, I watch a lot of ghost reality shows on TLC, Discovery Channel, things like that. That's just my bread and butter. I love reality shows that deal with the supernatural. But as far as like dramatic shows, I'm a big NCIS fan. Love
Okay.
NCIS Hawaii, New Orleans, even though they took New Orleans off the air a couple of years ago, and they discontinued Hawaii as well. But I really love those shows, man. It was also another show that was coming on the WB. I mean, I hate to even say it, but Nancy Drew. I mean, I love that show. Takes place in a small town. These kids dealing with supernatural events and things like that. That's one of my favorite shows as well.
Okay.
I haven't watched any of those. So.
I've-
Man, y'all got to watch that now.
No,
That's some
I've
good
watched
stuff.
some of the original NCIS, not the other. I tend to I like shows like that.
Is that like a franchise or?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
huge
They got a
franchise.
man, Rochak. It's the original. Justin can tell you, the original been around forever.
Yeah, they have came out 2003, and the original has 22 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
And see, and then when you say 22 seasons, it reminds me of Grey's Anatomy. That's
Yeah.
my wife's favorite show. And hey, different strokes for different folks. I'm just thinking. I think Grey's have been on maybe 20 years or more than 20 years. I mean, how many more storylines can you get out of a hospital show? But hey, to each his own, though. To each his own. So.
yeah, I feel like there are a lot of different shows similar to that, like a lot.
Yeah.
So when you're watching a TV or a movie or anything, do you ever think about like the writing process, like because you're a writer?
Oh yeah. More so with movies though. Anytime I'm looking at a movie, I'm thinking, okay, if I were them, I would have wrote this, or I would have framed it like this. That's just natural instinct. Sometimes it's a good thing, but sometimes it's a bad thing, especially if you're watching TV with somebody and I'm over there. Why did they do that? I would have wrote it like this, and my wife saying, "Would you just be quiet? We're trying to watch TV." But that's just the artist in me, the writer in me. That's what I'm saying. It can be a good thing or a bad thing.
I can understand because whenever I watch movie or TV shows, like I do same thing but with production wise.
Yeah,
They
if
should
you
have
get-
done this angle. They
If you
should have
get
done
me and
that.
him in a room together, like what was that? We went and watched Dune 2 together, right?
Yeah, we did.
And we came out of the theater literally talking about, which that was an amazing movie. They did fantastic, I think.
Uh-huh.
But we were still talking like, oh, they could have did this with the camera. They should have moved the boomstick. I love being able to just not watch it and just like normally, but like be able to see the details in it and
Uh-huh.
understand and be like, oh, this is what I possibly could have been done.
Right.
Even though we're not professionals like that.
Right.
But still, just seeing it a different way, like,
Right.
it makes the movie more enjoyable.
True. So this week I watched a movie called Joker 2. Have you watched Joker?
Yeah, I watched the original. I just wasn't a big fan of it. I think from what I understand, part two was a musical.
Yeah, it was.
So how was that?
Yes.
So I watched Joker 1. I love Joker,
I
by
loved
the
it
way. I
too,
love
man.
Joker, and I was really excited for Joker 2. But it was really, 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 really bad. Like, it was not just bad, it was terrible. It's probably the worst movie I've seen this year.
Oh, darn.
I want to watch it just to see how bad it is.
I think you should not waste your time. It's
That's what I was saying though, because I loved the first movie, Joker 2019, but then it's just like such a big letdown that people are saying it's so bad.
It's musical, but it doesn't really have the music element. I think we look into a musical movie. If it should not be fun. Like, it necessarily doesn't have to be a fun, but at least some kind of vibe, some kind of musical element in it.
right.
Yeah.
I think that was something it missed, and also the storyline was very plain.
Uh-huh.
That's what most people are saying. The storyline.
There was no progress. Like, at first 15 minutes into the movie, I was like, okay, this is pretty nice. I was like, it will be good movie. It's not that bad, but it never went anywhere from there.
So didn't it flop at the theaters or?
It did.
did.
Oh,
It did
Tremen-
really bad. It was like
tremendously,
$200 million budget. I think they made 200 worldwide,
wow.
and they need like 400 something million to like even make a profit. So
Man.
they did really bad.
Wow.
Yeah. 57.8 million domestically and 193 million globally.
Mm. Wow.
And
I mean, I guess you got to give them credit for at least trying something
No.
different.
no, they should have left it alone. They should have left Joker 2019. They should not have.
But
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, so many people are involved in making this movie, and how can they make such a bad movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the budget for Joker 1 was like, wasn't it? Joker 2 is like double or triple?
I think yeah, it's more than
It was a lot
first one.
more, obviously.
Oh, man.
But still, I don't know where the money went or what happened.
That's interesting then. Okay.
I think they might have spent too much money on the movie trailer. Because the trailer looked okay.
Yeah, the trailer didn't look bad at all.
It was good. Yeah, trailer was exciting. But movie, nope, don't watch.
Well, Dr. Beverly, I'm going to ask you a question that is hard for everybody.
Uh-oh.
What do you think, and it's okay, I mean, you say you can't do it, but what do you think is your favorite movie
Of all time.
of all time?
Okay. Actually, okay, I got 3 of them. I would say My Cousin Vinny.
Okay.
That's with Joe Pesci, old movie. Class Act, which is that stars Kid and Play, some old rappers from the 80s, and Enemy of the State. That's a Will Smith movie.
Okay.
All 3 of them are different, but all 3 of them, I just love the hell out of those movies. My Cousin Vinny, I can quote that movie from start to finish. It takes place in the South, in Alabama, and Joe Pesci is just funny as all get out in that movie. And so, yeah, I would say I would rank them in order: My Cousin Vinny, Class Act, and then Enemy of the State.
Well, that's better than I could do. 'cause
Yeah, I can't answer
I
that
cannot.
question.
I mean, okay.
Now y'all got to have some idea though.
Yeah, have you guys seen Interstellar? the space movie
Yeah, I have.
with Matthew McConaughey
Yes,
in
I've
it.
seen that. Yes, yes.
That
yes.
is one of my all-time favorites. What's it called?
Which one?
There's another war movie. I'm trying to think. It has what's his name? Spider-Man, not
Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire.
Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield. What's that movie? God, I
I
forgot.
have no
But
idea.
I love it. I literally just had it in my mind before I asked you the question.
Uh-huh.
But no, I usually like to my favorite genre. I like to rank movies in genres as far as my favorite. But my favorite genre is horror movies.
Oh yes, I'm with you. I'm right there
So,
with you.
Like all day, every day.
Uh-huh.
But my second favorite genre would probably be like war movies and stuff, just because the emotion you can.
Okay.
My favorite
Yeah,
war
those-
movie is 1917. Have you watched it?
Yes, I've watched it.
1917. Nuh-uh.
I think is this a British war? Yeah, it's the British war movie made by No, I'm not sure who made it, but it's on Netflix and it's like a one-take movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a one-hour where it's just follow one same camera from start to finish.
Uh-huh.
It's like 2 hour movie, but it's really good.
Yeah, I
Okay.
went and watched a documentary on that about like how they went through that whole process, and it was so cool to see. But I found the movie. It's called Hacksaw Ridge,
Ah, I've
and
heard of it.
it's
Yeah.
based on a true story. But that is one of my all-time favorite movies. That movie is just amazing to me.
Uh-huh.
But
Rochak, what about you?
Yeah,
You
man.
say 19. That's one of your
Yeah, that's
favorite
one
all
of the-
time, or
Not,
just your favorite
that's one
war
of my
movies?
favorite war movie.
Okay.
I think I'm a bit diverse in movie. I don't like romantic movie.
Uh-huh.
Other than that, I'm like open to everything.
Okay.
Like
okay.
thriller, comedy,
Mhm.
action. It's just depend upon my mood and time.
Got you.
what's your favorite horror movie, Dr. B?
Okay. I would say I don't necessarily have a favorite horror movie, but I have a favorite scene from a horror movie.
Okay, that works.
It's the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
You know that's Freddy Krueger,
Yep.
and he is walking in the alley at nighttime, and he has his arms outstretched.
Yes.
And his arms are so freaking long, and to me that has always been the scariest movie scene ever of all
I
time.
know exactly.
Because he's so short, but yet his arms are just freakishly long as he's walking down the alley, and he's just scraping his fingernails along the sidewalk.
yeah, the knives. Yeah,
just
that is
crazy,
really
crazy,
creepy.
crazy.
My favorite, one of my favorite horror movies would
Can you
probably be
guess?
The Conjuring.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say it, Terrifier.
Oh, well, I wouldn't call that a horror. I don't call like slashers horror movies because they don't really scare me. I mean,
Ah,
some do, but yeah, I would say the Terrifier series is one of my favorite slasher series.
But yeah, you mentioned The Conjuring. I mean, I love those Conjuring movies. I like Insidious as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree
You
with
ever
you.
saw her? What's it called? Hereditary or Hereditary?
Hereditary. Yeah, I saw that movie. That was a
Yeah.
very weird and disturbing
It
movie
was.
right there.
I was uneasy the entire time
Right.
I watched it.
Right.
But I like those kind of movies.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
for
I,
some reason.
I
Yeah.
also love the Paranormal Activity movies.
Okay.
All the-
I
they're little-
love the idea of those movies, but as I mentioned to y'all, I get motion sickness, so I could never. I tried to watch the first one. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
The way the camera was moving, and so. But yeah, I still like the idea of it though.
Yeah. They're a little repetitive though.
Yeah.
So
So I want to ask you one question, Dr. B.
Mm-hmm.
So you had ultimate money. You don't have limit on budget.
Okay.
You can hire any actor, any director, anybody, like dead or alive, and you are asked to make a movie. You have to come up with storyline. You have to hire actor. Tell us like your process. Like what movie would you make? Who you would hire and everything.
Wow, that's that's a tough one. I would probably convert one of my books into a movie. Probably the most recent one, The Ghost of Mississippi. And as far as a director, I would probably say Jordan Peele. Y'all ever heard of Jordan Peele? He did
Haven't.
what was it? Get Out.
Get Out. Yeah.
Us, and he had a few other movies as well. I would definitely hire him to direct the movie. As far as starring in the movie, I don't know. At one point, I liked the idea of a Will Smith starring in a movie, but I think I've moved on from that idea right now. um, for my own selfish reasons. Um, but I would hire several up and coming actors.
Hmm.
You
Okay.
know, I think there's a lot of talent out there that all they need is a opportunity.
True.
And so if I had unlimited budget, Rochuk and Justin, I would bring on so many people, give them an opportunity. But the genre of the movie would have to be something horror related.
Yes.
Okay,
He,
interesting.
he asked me this
I-
question
right.
before in a way, and I said if I were to make a movie, it'd be horror all day.
Yeah, yeah. What about you, Rochuk?
Yeah.
What would you do?
I'll probably go with something action, like
Okay,
some
okay.
fighting. I want to do a cool car scene, like in Fast and Furious.
Uh huh.
Something
Like
with
a-
like car, maybe space thing.
Uh huh.
Okay,
Okay, I can
okay.
see that. I can see that.
Something crazy that nobody has seen.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
But hey, if you got unlimited funds,
Yeah,
hey,
you
go
could do
for it.
anything.
Go
Yeah.
for it.
Go to space or anywhere. I think we are running out of time, Justin.
Yes, unfortunately. But what do you think of the show, Dr. Beverly?
Y'all, this is a great show. This is a great show. Yeah, definitely get more people on here. I'll make sure I get more people to tune into it because I like what y'all guys are doing right here.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
entertaining. Just having a laid back conversation with you two and the guests. I mean, this is good. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you a lot.
So this been your show, Real Vibe. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Dr. B, for being on the show. It's me, Rochak Basnet.
I'm Justin Ware.
And follow us on our social media at Real Vibe Show on YouTube and Instagram. If you have any feedback, want to be a guest on the show, or want to review a movie or TV, then please send us on our email at realvibeshow@gmail.com. Thank you and see you next week.